Welcome to hell.
Hello and welcome to the Jersey Shore Musicians Podcast. I'm Matt. That's Jeff.
I'm way over here.
You're way over there. And today we are at Relic Music with Mr. Mike over here.
Thanks for having me. We could golf club.
So how are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it.
No, thanks for being on the podcast. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, man, what a place. We'll have to do a tour of something so we can sit, you show people, because
Yeah, at some part I'll cut in a video of just walking around this place.
I remember walking in just being like, it is absolutely beautiful.
There's some gems floating around.
Oh, yeah.
I genuinely love coming here every day.
You gotta love where you work.
Which is good because for the first year and a half, I basically slept here. So.
That's just, it's your business. You got to put
nature.
yourself into it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is great. So, you've been open for, we were talking about 2 years, right?
Almost 2 years.
So where did this idea come from to open up such a, I don't want to say, it's definitely a musician's playground.
You have quite a variety.
It's very curated, and that's kind of by design. Usually we get one of two, and I've said this before, we get one of two reactions when people come in here. It's either, I've never heard of any of this, or holy whatever, I can't believe you guys
you
have
can
this.
say holy shit.
Okay, okay. That's
you don't got
good
to hold nothing back with us.
Okay, sounds
good.
No, it's we have people that have never heard of the stuff we have, and there's people that are like that come all the way from Virginia or Massachusetts or wherever because we're the only place that you can find the stuff that we carry, and that's really by design. Because for me, like, I've worked in shops before, and you go to any shop, and for the most part, you see the same stuff. You see the legacy brand stuff, which is very cool.
Gibson,
yeah, if that's what you're into, and we do some of that. But it's like for me, I want when I was doing this, I made the conscious decision to have stuff that literally nobody else has.
You wanted to be that niche.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. And I was saying before, like, my passion for this stuff and my success or failure or whatever it's going to be is going to be based on the stuff that I'm passionate about, not necessarily what you think is going to sell or whatever. And so far, so good.
That's awesome. Because I was telling him on the way here, about a month or two ago, you posted one of those high watt bass rigs on your Instagram, and I was about to get divorced to come up here, come buy it.
Well, if you could believe it, I shipped that 810 cab all the way out to California, and I had to do it on a pallet.
Dude probably paid a fortune in shipping.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily we have relationships with, I called in a massive favor for that one. Shout out to my friends at Built Guitars for letting me use their FedEx account. Let's just put it that way to save the guy some serious money. But yeah, stuff like that I love doing, and that's what happens when you have really rare, weird or whatever stuff like we have. It's like we get it from people contact us from everywhere. Like I had a guy reach out to DM me from Singapore asking, can you hold one of these pedals that are coming in for like our anniversary party? And I'm like, well, I really can't do that because we're only getting 5, and the people that are coming here are going to have dibs on stuff like that,
Wow.
It's come first serve.
Yeah. That's great. So walking in here, there's definitely a wow factor. Now, did you put all this stuff in a place to be like, okay, or did you hire somebody to come?
Do you want the long version of this or the short version?
We got time.
Yeah, we got time.
Okay, so
he could edit it.
when I decided to open a shop, I had a grown-up job and everything else, and everything was great, and I worked in shops, ran shops, whatever. And when I decided to do this, I was like, okay, like I'm gonna really go for it. Anybody that knows me knows that when I'm into something, I'm really into it.
Okay.
Like I go like full out, max effort, all that. So I looked, Red Bank at one point had 3 thriving music stores. And now, with Monmouth Music closing in 2019, there's really, Jack's does a little bit here and there, but not to the level they used to in terms of just inventory quantity, right? And really the location for me wasn't the biggest in terms of like, what am I think is gonna, where do I like, where's it gonna be the best for me to sell stuff? It was like, because really, I can do this almost anywhere. And sometimes, people would rather me be in a strip mall somewhere with a parking lot, but parking here is fine. So
You get a lot of foot traffic.
yeah, well, the interesting thing about, and I'll tell you this story later, the thing that I was really surprised about and I didn't plan for was everything we get from all the bands that tour and play at Count Basie. I'll tell you a story about how I ran out of Ernie Ball 10s one time, and for like 1 or 2 days, I was the only music store in the whole United States that had 0 packs of Ernie Ball 10s because I had a tech clean me out of all of them. But so I looked at a couple different spots in Red Bank, and I was like, should I just do an online thing? But I'm a big brick and mortar guy. I love going to a shop and playing a guitar or playing a pedal and falling in love with it and walking out with it. Like, you can watch all the videos you want on YouTube. You can watch all the Instagram videos. But, at the end of the day, especially like with a pedal or with any kind of relationship, I've bought plenty of stuff online. I like doing that too. But it's like there's something about walking into a place where you can talk to somebody that actually owns the stuff, loves the stuff, and that can tell you about the stuff. And even 2 months later, when they have it, they can say, when I was there, you were able to make it have this sound. I haven't had success doing that. How do I do that? We're big on service here.
Okay.
Everybody that works here is a huge nerd, myself obviously included. So I found this spot because I had a handshake deal in place over on Broad Street, all the way towards the corner by where West Front is. But in May of 21, when I was going to go and I was showing my cousin the spot, I noticed the street was closed. I didn't know about Broadwalk. So between May and end of September, they close all of Broad Street to have the restaurants in the streets and everything else, which I think is wonderful for the restaurants. But I was like, I can't sell heavy guitars and amps and have no way of people getting here.
I was going to buy it and walk it 3 blocks down the road. Yeah.
And how was I going to handle shipping and stuff like that? There was no way for me to physically have that space, and it was beautiful. So I remember I was sitting across the street, and me and my cousin were eating lunch, and I looked in the window here, and there was a for lease sign. So I had my realtor show it to me. A lot of the cool stuff in here, a lot of the architecture was kind of done already. So I leaned into it, finished the build out to kind of lean into what was here, like the columns and stuff, and really just,
It's a beautiful shop.
Thank you.
It really is.
Thank you. And it's all, for me, no detail is too small. So I wish I could take 100% of the credit. I mean, all the colors and all that, like I did, but like, things like these arches, these columns here, we just painted, and, I leaned into it by doing the guitar frames in the gallery there. But stuff like stupid stuff that I probably don't need to do, that I like to do, is I coffee stain every one of the tags, and we stamped them just like,
It's your
Like
personal touch.
it was like from the 60s, and it just sat there forever.
Exactly.
Yeah,
all
it's
details
cool.
like that.
And that's
Yep.
what you're saying before too. Like, yeah, you can go to like a Sweetwater or something like that and get a good deal. But like, to me at least, as a musician, nothing beats going in and sitting in a music store and actually getting to like sit down and play a guitar.
Well, the instrument will talk to you.
Yeah,
like I'm a
saying you
big
could buy a
believer of
guitar
that.
online. If you never played it,
Sure.
you don't know if you could pick it up and hate it.
There's a whole discussion now in our industry circle and revolving around the extinction or possible extinction or lesser prominence of the brick and mortar music store. And I really believe that it's that is happening, because, I mean, let's face it, you guys are all musicians, right? How many positive experiences have you had walking into a shop where nobody knows anything, nobody wants to help you, you ask a question, nobody knows. So like,
A lot of the shops that I used to go to that that knew things, they're not there.
they're not there
As
anymore.
I said, they're all closed.
It's impossible. It's impossible because you have these big box stores that, they don't pay well, right? They might hire somebody that just likes to play, but they don't know how the MIDI works on like a Chase Bliss pedal, or, they don't know what the best reverb is for the kind of music that you're going to play. They don't know what a fingerboard radius is a lot of the times, and this, I'm just speaking from experience, no disrespect, obviously, but it's like, I totally I'd listened to a pedal podcast about this, and I was like, I think these guys are onto something, because like for me, what's really important for me here is that like I'm always going to be here on the floor in the vicinity of customers to help them, instead of just being in the back doing spreadsheets, doing ordering. Like I could do that stuff at night in my house.
You have the passion that you want your customers to come in here and have an experience.
100%.
Not just come in here to buy a guitar.
And be able to help them,
Yes.
which it's not just a normal, I'm going to say, bigger store with like, salesmen.
Well, that turns
It's
into,
not,
I went to this place to buy guitars, into, you got to go check this place out. I went in there, these dudes, they helped me out. They did this. They
I
did that, they showed me
genuinely,
this.
just genuinely love it. Like people ask me, how did you do this? I just love it. That's it. There's no secret. Like I'm just super into all this stuff, and I wish I had like secret sauce. I just love it, and that's
Yeah.
it.
Well,
Well,
maybe that
especially
is a
since-
secret sauce. Is that
Maybe.
you love it.
Especially since COVID, though, touching on what you were talking about, the whole downfall of the brick and mortar, it's literally everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not just music stores. It's,
All you gotta do is go into a
know,
mall.
Amazon is putting everyone out of business.
I heard
retail-wise.
that they actually might be in some trouble for monopoly stuff right now.
I can see
I think
that.
the government's looking into that, but we'll see. Who knows? Yeah. I'm focused on my little corner of the world here.
And it's a very small corner right now
Yes.
because it's getting smaller and smaller for us
Absolutely.
all around. Whether it's
The world needs more people like you that have that passion, and like you said, you don't want people to just come here and buy something. You want them to come in and learn, and it to be an experience for them, and something they'll remember.
especially like for stuff that we spec out. Like I have an idea for a build, and I work with these companies like Built, like Frank Brothers, like Dunnable, where it's like I get an idea and they're so willing to work with you on all this stuff. So it takes, the specking process takes what it takes. Sometimes it comes to me quickly. Sometimes I'm like thinking about it for 2 or 3 months. Like this is a cool finish, and these are, this is a cool neck profile, and it goes together, especially with this type of wood. What pickup should we put in it? Should we put a trem? Should we not put a trem? Do we age the hardware? Do we not age the hardware? And then by the time it all of that gets done and it gets here, and somebody comes in and looks at it or plays it or touches it or sees it on the web or Instagram or wherever, and they take it home, it feels way better than ordering something out of a catalog. As good as it feels to have somebody come in and get their first guitar that's in the 400 or 500 range and have them get started, to have them come back and pick something out that we spec'd out. They're the
one of a kind,
They're the
yeah.
only one that has that exact guitar.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I
just
mean,
like-
let's be honest though. All the ones that you spec out, how many really go on the wall?
well,
Because
like I
there's
said,
definitely a little attachment there.
For
It's like you're
sure.
talking about a child right here.
for sure. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I haven't taken some home myself.
Oh, God, this came out better than I imagined. This is
It's-
going back in the box and going in my car.
Some I ordered specifically for myself. Some I spec'd out because I thought they would be awesome, and they're really awesome. And, it's part of
I
it.
gotta have that one.
Yeah,
too.
it happens. It's part of it.
Got to have your toys and your fun too.
Well,
so.
the great thing is, I have a built-in reason. Well, I have to own one of these so I can tell the customers what it's all about.
research.
It's
Research.
Exactly. You got
I
it.
know. I was checking out. I think it's the Dunnable that Chuck got. Mm-hmm. That is a monster.
Yep, that's when we spec'd out together. He had some ideas. I kind of helped him along with it, and it's a monster.
sounds great.
Sasha builds an incredible guitar. We've been doing, he was one of the first builders we worked with. I remember seeing his stuff at NAMM in 2019 and falling absolutely in love with it and saying this guy is going to be like, especially in the aggressive music community, everything from like punk to doom metal, stone metal, like thrash. And even like we've sold his guitars to like blues guys, but he builds such a great guitar, and to have something that's like a one-off like that, that's only, I say only, I mean, for 2,000 to 3,000 is a lot of money, but not for something that's custom, the level of quality that it is, and you're literally the only one in the world that has that guitar.
Oh, that's really cool.
Like every piece of that guitar. Yeah.
Yep, it's awesome. And I have to say, these companies I work with, they're amazing. Like I have I have the craziest ideas. My customers have the craziest ideas, And like, yeah, we can do that. And then it shows up, and I'm like we had one of my good friends did a custom built as a tribute to his grandfather, and he sent them a birthday card that his grandfather signed with his initials, and they took his grandfather's handwriting and did an exact replica of his grandfather's handwriting, his initials on the 12th fret. They inlaid it.
Oh, that's really cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that kind of level of stuff that you cannot get from like a big box manufacturer.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You know,
But you do have some big box
For sure.
manufacturers here, so it's
Absolutely.
not just that. So
No.
I know we were talking about
You can't limit
guitars.
yourself, you know?
No, you cannot. But
look, I have a thing where I talked about curated, right? I'm not going to have 5 options for the first guitar. I'm going to have 2 to 3 of what I think in my years of experience and build quality, you know, what I think are the best.
Okay.
I would rather just narrow it down and say this Dan Electro for $450 or $460 is better than anything you can get in that price point because it's made in Korea. Build quality is fantastic. The pickups sound fantastic. They're using real rosewood on the fingerboard, not Pau Ferro or Laurel or who knows what. And, you know, as an added bonus, I tell people the original factory was also here in Red Bank. So, and one of my guys, Matt, he had an extensive collection of vintage Danos that were built here, and the new ones are built better.
okay.
The build quality of them is off the charts for that kind of money. So we do really well with them, you know, and I like I said, I'm a big fan of theirs.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I had to sneeze.
It happens.
It's all good.
It's the cedar in here. That just makes me feel like
Do I have cedar in here?
I don't
Probably.
know.
We'll
Somewhere.
go with that. It's the cedar. Somewhere.
But okay, so we're talking about guitars, and I'm a guitar player, so I get it, and I like guitars too. I'm really an amp guy.
Me too.
So when I walked in here and I'm looking and I'm like, okay, well, there's some orange things over here, some nice checkered Voxes, and we got some standard Marshalls, high watt. Okay, well, man, you hear about high watts and then they're like kind of trailed away and it kind of seem like they're coming back. Like,
So High Watt is my favorite amp brand. I use them myself in every band I've really been in. I have a 71 custom 100 that has 0 mods, still has the original bulging cord that when I got it on eBay, it came from like Bulgaria or someplace crazy in like a wooden crate. Because when I was going to buy one, I wanted one with 0 mods. Still had English Mullards in it. I wanted it to be like exactly like it was when it stepped off the
Came out the box.
Exactly. Not condition-wise. I didn't care if there was a rip in the Tolex or anything like that, but the guts had to be right. So we were talking before we started about Dennis. I had a 24-hour window to approve this thing, and it still had the European cord. So I'm like, how the hell am I going to plug this in? So I took it to him. He put it on the bench. It was perfect. So I was like, all right, how am I going to play it? He lopped off the bulging side of the power cord, soldered it to the US side. So every gig I played, I was like, if I forget a guitar, that's fine. I cannot lose this cable. Yep. If I lose this cable, I will never be able to use this amp again. Now I have a couple others that some companies make, but I'll say this: the new stewards of the brand are building them to the exact same spec of Dave Reeves and Harry Joyce. They sound incredible, and they're doing new takes on that DR circuit. Like this custom 20 here is a 20 watt point-to-point wired, and you can actually get it to break up nice at lower volumes when you crank the gain. Because the 50s and 100s, I mean, they're designed for clean headroom. They also make a new custom 88, which is really cool for bass because it's like a DR 10300 watt, but instead of 4 EL34s, it's 2 KT88s.
okay.
I was the only one in the United States that had one of those, and that I got it like a month ago, and it went like the same week it came in. Wow. And then the new Super High is like one of the best high gain amps I've ever heard. But we also do really cool amp companies like Benson. Cutthroat Audio is another one that I absolutely love. Ron, he builds an incredible amp. He has a couple that are really impressive. One of my favorites that he makes is called a Down Brownie, which is like a Brown Deluxe circuit and a JMP that you can combine and mix the channels and stuff like that. He's got different mods he does to it. So it's not just like,
here you go. It's like this. He's a couple options.
He's somebody that's like, and you talk to him and he's got a real passion for it the same way I talk about, pedals and specking guitars. He talks about the amps that he builds. So like that kind of thing. I like working with people like that are, smaller companies that have a genuine love for what they're doing, just like I have a genuine love for what I'm doing.
Nice. Now, is there anything that is like, vintage in here or on consignment?
Sure,
do you do consignments
sure.
or anything?
We do consignment, and I tell people all the time, the other approach I've taken to this is trying to be the first music store with 100% transparency, where I'm just like not trying to like rob people if they bring used stuff in here and give them like 30 or 40% of what
That's a breath of fresh
their
air, but
used
yeah.
value is. I believe in karma, man.
Yeah.
Right. But I will say this, like we've had, widowers come in here with collections of really crazy stuff that I'm like, thank God you came in here and you didn't go somewhere else, because
Somebody would have robbed you.
right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That happens all the
and,
time.
So I tell people all the time, if you're not in a rush for the money, consignment's better, because we sell this stuff pretty quick. The split is a lot better in the customer favor. And as far as vintage stuff goes, we have a few pieces, but I have like 4 or 5 customers that when something like really crazy comes in, and it'll never see the wall. I'll just go down the list, you know.
It's like that Rick up there.
Yeah. So that one is like, I actually had a 4080, which is a double neck.
Okay.
One of only 200 made, super rare. Yeah, I had a bunch of stuff like that, random stuff come in, and usually I just, look, it's like anything else, you're into this stuff, you attract other people that are into this stuff, and it's a circle.
yeah.
It's a really small world.
That's like my be all end all. Is like I want a 70 or an 80s, Rick. That's like my holy grail.
That's a rare one, no binding, and it's the rounder sides, which you don't really see.
It's calling to me.
Oh, jeez. Here we go.
And the truss rods are good. We checked them out. So.
See, there you go. See, it's actually nice to hear that.
Salesman.
Well, I will say this, that's one legacy brand that I'm head over heels in love with. I love Rickenbackers. When you get a good one, there's like nothing else. Nothing else like it.
I mean, yeah, that's
The
true.
tone
I
you
mean,
get out of them.
Yeah, they're so
Fantastic.
different. They're so different. And they had the whole, supply and demand thing down. They make X amount of guitars. I remember I ordered one in 2001 and it took 6 months. In 2001, when like every other company is like, oh yeah, I have like 600 of those in stock, I'll send you one. You know what I mean? Now, like the crazy thing is, like when I opened this place, it was like right at I knew supply chain was bad. I had no idea how bad. That was the biggest challenge, because I still have stuff I ordered before I opened that we haven't gotten yet.
oh, wow.
Yep.
I thought it was hard to get tubes.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of mentioned it before. Like I'm real into like doom, stoner rock and stuff like that. And you don't get much better than that for what I'm trying to achieve.
No. I mean, again, even those two R2 basses we have up there. Those are his DE line, which are made in Korea, which are fantastic, and they're like in the low, like I think 1,200-1,300 range. Incredible instruments. They still use his pickups. They're built really well, and even his full custom stuff. Like I have a bass 6 that I did of his. I own one of his bass 6s that I didn't spec out for myself, but then it shows up, and that's going back to what we said before. This is good. Yeah.
It doesn't make it.
But everything we've gotten from him has been incredible. And with him, like anything else, you can go as crazy as you want. His finished work is outstanding. The instruments usually very lightweight. He uses really, really good wood, and he's again just really fun to work with.
I don't know if you ever looked into them, but was it Kiesel? Their finishes are out of this world.
Yep. Yeah, I think the one thing we're missing here, as far as that goes, is we don't really have a high performance line. Like we don't really sell many shred sticks, like with compound radiuses and things like that, which is like, it's like drums. Like I'm looking into that stuff, but it's like,
yeah, there's so much.
so many hours. There's only so many hours in the day, and I'll get to that eventually. But for right now, I'm just like, all right, like I said, I'm still new. We're still new, just trying to get everything moving in the right direction. And then,
Seem to be doing pretty good. With
Yeah,
what they're
I
doing.
mean,
Thank
and
you.
it looks gorgeous in here. Like
Thank
I
you.
would highly recommend everybody. I mean, just come
Very
in
welcoming.
here, just to buy strings. Come in and see everything. I guarantee you're going to sit down and play something, because I want to like actually sit and play everything in here right now.
you're always welcome. Again, like I said, it's I don't we try to be very friendly. We don't like, I mean, I can count on one hand, like I said before, how many shops I've walked into where I've had somewhat positive experiences. We went into this, I think I tell this story all the time, but we went into a big box store, a buddy of mine and I one time, and he was just looking for like a really, really lousy distortion pedal to use. I think I told the story in the last podcast I did, so if it's repetitive, I do apologize, but different audiences, so maybe you'll appreciate it. Well, guys know how it is. You're like bored one day as when you're younger, you go to all the music stores, let's see what they have, let's check it, So there was this really old Dan Electro grilled cheese, hold the onions distortion pedal. That's when they had those, they were in the plastic boxes. They were like really, really janky, for lack of a better term. So that's exactly what he was looking for. So he's like playing it and it sounded god awful, and like the slick sales guy comes over, he's like, sounds great, doesn't it? My friend looks him in the eye and goes, no, I'll take it.
No, I'll take it.
Yeah.
No, it's perfect.
Yep, exactly.
That's great.
So, I mean, again, we try to just like, we like to have conversations, we're, like I said, we just, like, I have guys come in here like, how do you do that? How'd you do this? Like, if I wanted to do a business to make money, I would have opened a different business. But this is like what I love. So this is what I'm doing. That's it.
Yeah, well, the way you're doing it though, like you're creating that return customer, because when they come in here, they're not going to want to go to another place.
Oh, why would you?
That's the goal, right? That's the hope, is that you build. We talked about building a community where people, and the support I have from my regulars, and just like, it's hard not to have, like, I still don't believe that I did this. It's still totally crazy to me. Like, I still walk in here and I don't believe that it's mine and that I did it. It's just so odd, just real talk. Like, you have this level of imposter syndrome, like, holy crap, like, look what we did,
Gotta be proud of that, man.
Yeah,
For
because
sure.
it looks great.
For sure. I and my staff is amazing. I couldn't do it without them. They're really wonderful. And it's been great so far. Like I tell people, you do this because you love it. And if you're fortunate, you get to feed yourself and keep the roof over your head,
Yeah. That's one way to put it.
So I do see a big. What is that? Is that like a china closet full of pedals right there?
That we can't really talk about that, right? Oh, you're talking about that one.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the display cabinet.
No.
We
It's like a china closet.
Yeah,
Like, that's really
we have
cool.
4 pedal cases right now. We have more coming, but I add a lot of brands, and we work with a lot of brands. Like, we're one of only 2 Chase Bliss dealers in the country now. But stuff like, we do have a great relationship with Caroline Guitar Company. I've known Philippe since like the early 2010, 2011, maybe 2012. I forget exactly when. But we do a lot with Electronic Audio Experiments and Old Blood Noise and Fairfield Circuitry and Mask Audio and Jam Pedals out of Greece and Life is Unfair out of England, and a lot of companies that like were the only ones to do this stuff. And how'd you find this? Well, because I bought them when I was just using them, and I love them. That's how. That's it. And I love doing exclusives. Like, I'll do exclusive colorways with companies.
Okay.
Limited batches. So it's just fun. And when I am buying pedals, if it's looks different than everybody else's, sure. Why not?
Why not?
It's cool. It's fun. It's fun.
That is great. So, all right. So now that you have, you have the store and everything, the clientele. All right. Let's take the pros and even guys playing. How are the younger generation, I guess I would say? Like, all right, we all grew up in, man, it was a music store. Like, we're going to go. I want to go play this guitar. I want to save up. I want to buy a Les Paul. What are these kids now when they come in? Is it exciting to them? Is it just like this is no different than...
I think so. We have quite a few regulars that came in that might not have even known what a pedal was.
Okay.
And now, like, I've done pedal boards for them with like 6 pedals on it, and they're just doing deep dives on it and just really exploring.
So you'll help organize pedal boards.
I do
with people?
pedal board builds all the time.
Okay, so that's good to know, because I know a couple people that should probably come to you.
Yeah, I do everything from a simple setup to MIDI switching systems to just regular true bypass loopers. I have a bunch of different pedals and pedal board brands and power supplies I carry here. I wire them up. I go everything soup to nuts. I'll help you. If you have pedals already, I'll do that. I'll wire it up for you. If you don't, like, we'll build it together. You know, but
That's like a full service thing. Like
100%.
Awesome.
I probably do 2 to 3 a week as far as pedal board wiring and builds here.
Okay.
Sometimes, on average, sometimes I have none in a week, and sometimes I have like 8. Okay. But on average, like, I'm always, and I try to do all of them just because it's a good distraction from my responsibilities.
Oh, well, there
stuff
you go.
I'm supposed to be doing.
And you enjoy doing it. So it's like, I wonder how this would be.
It's funny to me how it's like torture for some people to painstakingly, run the wires and all that. I love it.
Okay.
It's funny because on the way here, we were talking, you know the band Baroness?
Yeah.
I was trying to explain to him like just the sheer craziness of their pedal setups. Like they play like 20 to 30 pedals each.
Mm-hmm.
Way too many. I'm one of those guys, though. I'm a purist. Give me a Marshall and a Les Paul. And
That's
I'm
fine.
okay.
You know what it is? It's like
You're clean and you're dirty.
And I used to be the same. Like when that Fender Tone Master series came out, I'm like, but I'm like, okay, let me think about this. If you're in a bar band and you're going to play for a bunch of people that could give two what's about what your guitar sounds like, and you're just going there it's a gig. It's a paying gig.
Yeah.
You're playing covers for 3 hours in a bar here in the summertime where people just want to go and drink and dance and hear the vocals and the drums. Why would you bring out one of your nice amps to run the risk of getting beer spilled on it? It's a tool.
Yeah.
Just like for me, like, and I used to be the same way. Like if I went and saw a band that didn't have pedals, I'm like, what are they doing? But it's like there's room for everything. Everybody's different. Yeah. Everybody has a different setup. Everybody has a different sound. Our goal here is to not judge, but to help somebody achieve the best they possibly can within their budget.
Yeah.
Right.
No, absolutely. And you got a nice selection for that. So I mean, you're doing a great job. I mean, I keep looking around. I'm like,
pedals
man.
Too, you don't have like your normal run of the mill pedals. You have a lot of like really custom boutique style pedals.
Yeah. No, I definitely, like I said, I have some that you can't find literally anywhere else in the United States.
So cool.
And then I do have Electro Harmonics and I have MXR because I also like that stuff.
Yeah.
Some of them
I like Boss.
True, yeah.
Yep. I carry what I like at the end of the day.
That's great. I mean,
you also carry what you know is not a piece of crap.
Well, that's
exactly the whole thing. Again, it's very curated.
Yeah, like I stand behind it.
I wouldn't sell something to somebody that I wouldn't, even if I wouldn't use it personally. I know that it'll be good for them. Mm-hmm. Like,
you don't want them to regret their decision in buying it.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's again, it goes back to the whole service thing. That's what we're all about here.
Yeah. So now, are you like open 24/7?
Well, our website is, and one thing I have to get better at is like I have and I shouldn't even say this because I know this is going to just cause problems for me, but I have a slight OCD where if I see notifications on my phone, I can't see those little numbers. Like it has to,
red dots have
to go.
Same way.
Like so, if I get an email. Like, I could wake up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, and I'll look at my phone to see what time it is, and I have, like, 3 emails. I'm like, well, let me see what these are. It's so bad. It's horrible.
So everybody start emailing him at, like, 2 in the morning.
I only now, in the last, like, month, put my phone on Do Not Disturb when I go to sleep because it got to the point where, like, I was just, like, working nonstop because, like, I'm like... Well, let me answer these reverb questions and let me answer these emails. And
sometimes you got to turn it off.
Of course. And I was, it was a disservice not only to me, but it sets a bad example because I don't want the customers thinking that if they email me and if I'm somewhere else, that they're always going to get a response in the middle of the night. Also, they must have thought I was a freaking weirdo. Like, why is this person emailing me at 3:23 in the morning?
Because you had to pee.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You just got lucky, dude.
I did not. Yeah, no, I didn't preface the email by saying you're in luck. I had to use the bathroom, so here, this is the answer to your question.
Hey, you're in luck. I just got up.
Yeah, no, we're open. We altered our hours in the last year based on what the town was doing. Right.
Okay.
I'm a big believer in quality of life. I want my staff to have a good quality of life. I'm not open past 6 o'clock. So basically our hours are Monday through Saturday, 11 to 6. But I do have additional hours offered by appointment. So if you come to me and say, I really want to try out this high watt, but I can't get to you. Can we do it 10:30 at night on Tuesday? Absolutely. So
Damn.
I'm a big fan of the private shopping experience because, and I have a lot of customers that are as well. So like I will open early for them. I will stay open late for them. I've never gotten stood up, knock on wood.
Okay.
The people that make the appointments stick by them. And I find that, that happened during COVID when you had a one at a time things because of social distancing. I was like, people really do like this. So we're not open on Sundays anymore because we were open on Sundays for a little bit, but I really feel like it's important for my staff, especially to have one weekend day off.
Yeah.
Where they can spend time with their
Stay to rest,
family
yeah.
or whatever, right?
Recharge.
I'll usually come in and just, make sure the store didn't burn down or whatever for a couple minutes and then I'll be on my way. But it's it's important for me and it also at night is when people play in bands. So like I'm not gonna stay open until 9 o'clock at night when my staff plays in bands and they have shows.
Yeah. And really, you have to be an idiot to come last second to be like, oh man, I broke this.
And again, like I said, the thing I stress to people is we can be open whenever you want. You just tell me if you want to come in and buy something or you want to come in and try something, and we're not open when you just tell me when, and I'll be here.
That's wow. That is definitely a service of service.
One of a kind. I've never heard anybody else doing that.
I know, right? Exactly.
I
Well,
even
I hope
tonight,
it works for
appreciate
you.
it 'cause we couldn't get up here because we both work, and then you're like, "Oh, I close at 6." I'm like, "We can't get up there until like 7ish," and you're like, "Yeah, no
Dude,
problem. I'll hang out."
my pleasure. It's a piece of cake.
So, what's next for you? You have a great store. You have great product. You have a great service.
Well, I'm
What's your what? Well, let's break the glass ceiling.
We didn't even touch yet on the show. He has shows here.
yes.
Oh, wait a minute.
We can
I
get to
didn't
that
know
too.
this.
Yeah. No, we try. I try to do one event a month, and it's always free. I've done a couple shows for people where the promoters have charged and it's set in advance. But when I book a show here, I like to have all the shows be free so that I stress to people, buy the band's merch. That's where they make their money. Don't pay anything to come in here. Buy the records, buy the shirts.
Support the bands, yeah.
Put the money in the artists' pockets, right? I've done, we did a synth demo here with synth demo night with Korg here. We've done, we did a Chase Bliss night here where those guys all came from Minneapolis, and we did a whole night with them, a big panel discussion, demos, and all that stuff. I had a big anniversary party last year where I had 8 or 9 vendors from across the country here with tables. I'm having my second birthday party here, October 21st. Same thing. I have, Chase Bliss, Caroline, Old Blood, Electronic Audio Experiments, Ashland Music Tools, Mask Audio, Fuzz Rocious, Tomcat, a bunch of companies coming here, setting up tables with pedal boards, headphones, so you can check that out. And then we give each of the companies a half hour on an amplifier to do a quick Q&A with the audience. This is what it sounds like on an amp. I think it's important because I'm friends with all these builders just organically from buying all their pedals before when they were, smaller operations or whatever, right? I think talking to the person who makes the stuff builds a kind of relationship and trust that you can get from a store, but you really can't. It's so that's part of the reason. And then we're doing a show here at night, which is always cool. One of my highlights of being here is it's kind of a crazy story, but Hum is one of my all-time favorite bands. And I had Matt Talbot, the singer, play a show here.
Oh wow!
A few months ago, which was he was amazing.
Wow, that's cool.
So,
That's pretty awesome, yeah.
and for me, I tell people all the time, You'd Prefer an Astronaut is what got me into guitar sound. If I don't get into guitar sound listening to that record, I don't open the store.
The store doesn't exist.
And to
yeah.
have the guy here
Yeah, that's cool.
playing
responsible
here,
for it all,
yeah,
yeah.
it was wild.
That is
That's
pretty
full
cool.
circle right there.
Yes. So I feel like the shows are important, especially because, in Monmouth County especially, I grew up going, playing and going to basement shows in New Brunswick where it was all ages, and when I was doing it, when I was playing and going to shows there, they were usually dry, no alcohol, because that's, the quickest way to get a spot shut down is to have a bunch of beer involved. And now it's to the point now where, they still have shows in New Brunswick, but you can't give an address anymore. You have to have a name for the house, and you have to ask where the house is because,
Fire, I'll just say, ask a
they turned
punker.
right, exactly. It turned into that. But there is a big lack of all ages venues here in Monmouth County. And for me to be able to do a show here once a month where it's free and you can be 5 or 6 years old and come here and listen and enjoy, I'm big on that. I used to go to like backyard shows in Toms River when I grew up in Jackson, just stuff like that.
We say it all the time. If you're here in Monmouth County, but name one venue in Ocean County.
Is this like a rhetorical question or me to really try?
Yeah,
Like
try.
really try. Like now, like
An
not back
actual-
then,
an
now.
actual venue.
Okay, hold on.
I mean, that still exists, of course,
Yeah.
because there is none.
Yeah, I don't think there is.
No, there are
none that I could think of.
Sandy
there's
took out the last remnants.
There's bars that do open mic, but I would not classify them as
No,
venues.
but like
There's
you
a
guys,
couple bars that have like a small stage that'll let bands play, but there's no place.
Well, let's
that
take
you
it
can
even
call
further.
a music
Let's take it
venue.
even further. And the places that do, it's all covers.
oh well, yeah.
Like
I
the
mean,
bars in the summertime, they'll have cover bands every night of the weekend, but they're not going to book an original band because that's not what it's for.
And that's why we love our sponsor, Manufacturing, because they gave us the reins, and we put 2 shows on there.
Oh,
this summer.
that's a brewery that you guys do
down
shows
in
with?
down in
Cool.
Mount
Tell,
Hawken,
tell me about that. I've never heard of it.
It's a small brewery. It started out with just 2 guys, and phenomenal beer.
Nice.
Great beer.
Yeah.
They have a little outside beer garden area with a little wood deck stage.
Very cool.
And they love music, and I went to them the one day because I used to go there just to drink beer. Had my 40th
Mm-hmm.
birthday there, and I was like, I have a music podcast. What would you guys think about me doing artist showcases and just bringing in like on a Sunday afternoon? We'll do like 3 or 4 bands throughout the afternoon, and they're like, we love it.
And that's
like,
what it's
well,
all
How
about,
do you want me
man.
to run this? And they're like, whatever the fuck you want to do.
That's
They're
what
like,
it's
here's
all
the
about.
reins.
I love
Have
it.
fun.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, they used to do shows at the brewery in AP, but they stopped doing that quite a while ago. And even that, again,
Red Tank was doing them for a while, but even they scaled back considerably.
yeah. I wish I can. I get so many emails from bands asking to play here, and I wish I just don't have the bandwidth to do more than one a month because, like I said, I only have in the last 6 months been able to. I don't want to say slow down because I haven't, but like not work 18 hours a day on this. Yeah. So like for me, all the shows with the exception of one that we had to reschedule twice, they're all on Saturdays because we're closed on Sunday, and it's like once a month because it's all the bandwidth I can handle to do that. But I would love to be able to do it more, but I just,
it's a lot.
It's a lot. And I'm not at the
job.
point now where I'm not at the point yet where I trust anybody else besides me to be here. No, I don't want to put that responsibility on anybody else. It's not fair, right?
So I'll put you on the spot, but maybe sometime in the future we should collaborate.
Absolutely.
Form like Voltron and come together and put something together. Because we have an army of bands that we've worked with. We have tons and tons of bands.
That hopefully they all come here and buy their next piece of gear. That's the whole point.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. I just I just want to spread the word and have people come out and check it out. You know what I mean?
We'd love to bring people here to support your business too, and then at the same time, as we said before, we're trying to build a community and spread it out and bring all these bands together because we tell every band that comes on our podcast, it's like, yeah, you're coming on our podcast and you're going to have an episode, but every time you share your episode, you're sharing and bringing them to every other band that we've had on in the past. So it's that's how you build. If everybody's doing it, everybody's going to get seen by everybody's fans, and that's how it grows organically.
Absolutely.
You right over there?
Yeah, I'm still just looking around, like trying to figure out what I could buy without. Getting,
So you're an
divorced.
amp guy. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What's your favorite? Give me like 2 or 3 favorites.
Okay,
We're gonna talk about some nerd shit.
I know. He's definitely going to go with the Jubilee.
Well, I like that because that's what I play. But if I'm going to go by build or just in general, what I like.
If you can buy any amp right now to add to your collection,
I'd probably get like a nice, like a Reverb Deluxe or something. I have a 72 Super Lead.
nice. Is it a 50
Jubilee.
or 100?
100.
Nice.
The Jubilee, which is now my mainstay. Oh, we were talking about like, what are you gonna do? Bring this out? Like, oh yeah, man, I brought
course.
them
What's
out.
the
I brought it
point
out in the rain. It played out in a farm doing a Christmas
What's
band,
the
and I'm
point
like,
of
who
having
cares?
it if
It's
you don't?
raining. I'm
And
gonna fix it.
I say that all the time. Like for me, it's like you have this stuff because like it's a privilege for me to own this amp to be able to bring it out and play it now and just listen to it and enjoy it.
Exactly.
You
You want to
Mention
feel
in his
that
position,
thing.
if he breaks it, all he's got to do is bring it in the shop and fix it.
know? Please don't say I don't want to break my high watt.
No, don't do
No,
that.
but at least he
Yeah.
doesn't have to pay anybody to fix it.
Yeah.
Well, no,
you
I
still gotta
would
pay
not.
for parts.
Yeah, I'm not going to put my hands in an amplifier. Guitar, fine. Amplifier, I won't. I have much.
He'll tell you, I go, Jeff, I broke it again.
Much too much respect for the amplifier for me to put my hands in there. That's for sure. I will say that part of the reason I don't sell tubes here is because in the past
You're
when
just
I've worked at
into-
shops where I've done, it's like these aren't light bulbs, guys.
Yeah.
Like they're not. If the most amps aren't self-biasing, you can't just take out power tubes and put power tubes in and expect it to work right.
I think it was like 10 years ago. I had one of the old Earth amps.
Oh,
God.
sick!
I wanted
brought
to
it
kill
to him.
you.
He opens it up. He's like, "You motherfucker!" He's like, "You almost killed me." He's like, "I opened up the back of this thing and just got blasted in the face with asbestos."
Yeah, those were made with asbestos on the inside. And I didn't think it was an old one, original one. That's how well
He's
kept
like,
it
I am
was.
never working on that thing. ever
like,
again.
sell this thing.
Mackerel. That's amazing.
Sounded amazing. Though.
Well, this isn't mine. I heard this from one of my friends reps in the past, but I like to use this. He said guitars make you look good, amps make you sound good.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, dude. But yeah, I in my collection I'm missing some very early Fenders,
Okay.
so but I don't know if I would ever I'm a Marshall guy.
Yeah.
So I hand built so my main amp that I use in the studio, I built a JCM 800
Nice.
with 2 electronic components in it to switch over to a Fender Basement clean channel.
Beautiful.
So after that, what else do you need?
High watt 100.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm definitely. I like the way they look.
There's the salesman.
And I was like, how?
No, I'm just like I just love those amps. That's
Like I said, when I saw that bass rig on Instagram, I was tempted to drive up here immediately.
Oh, with the Emperor cab, right? By the way, I shipped that out to a guy out in Portland, Oregon. UPS lost it. I'm in a huge. How do you lose a 113-pound box that's 36 by
God.
36 by 24?
Somebody open it up like, oh, this is mine.
It's like a small refrigerator.
Yeah, I don't. So I'm in a big fight with them right now. I'm not happy. I'm very sad, very upset with UPS right now.
jeez.
And it's the first issue I've had with them, so hopefully it gets resolved. But
How the fuck do you lose that? That's called that somebody dropped it off at their house.
Yeah, or they dropped it and they're just like.
No, it's called somebody dropped it off at their house.
Probably. Yeah. I have hopefully I go to a show and see it on stage somewhere and I'm like, I'll point it out. I know that one.
thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's
but
funny.
I already ordered another one for the customer and hopefully it'll show up and I'll deal with the
Those Emperor
UPS
caps
stuff.
are super nice.
So I love those guys. I own a couple of them and I've had them for a long time. When I opened this place, they were another company, right? I love what they do and I pick the grills, I pick the stains. I usually get them empty. And when a customer comes in and says, I have an 800, I have an old vertical input 800, I want a 212 or a 412 to go with it. This is what I like. What speakers do you recommend? I love doing that. We wire cabs up for people all the time.
Wow.
Usually when I get the bass cabs, I'll get those loaded because, Emperor, when they build their bass cabs, they know better than me in terms of frequency response, what speakers are better in their
In their enclosure.
in
Oh,
their
it's cubic
enclosures.
feet, that's why.
In the bass cabs. The guitar cabs, the ones I got from them, the first one I ever got from them was like back in like 2013 or 14, I think. And it was loaded with what did it have in it? Eminence Cannabis Rex. I didn't love them, so I ended up selling that cab. And then I got 2 empty ones. I have a 612 from them that I ordered with 2 inputs so that I could run it as a 212 and a 412. So if I wanted to run 2 heads with it, I could.
Okay.
And switch between the 2 of them. But now I just use it as, I run my high watt with it or whatever. And then I have that has 2 Alnico creams and then 4 Heritage older UK made greenbacks. And then my 412 has 4 Celestion Alnico Golds that I got when the Alnico Golds first came out. And now I'm like, I love that cab. It's the one I bring out most of the time.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
and those
really
guys are great. Like I work with them. I've done several pallets of those cabs, and I got more on the way. So,
nice.
Yeah, that's probably gonna be one of my next investments.
dude, that cab was only $800.
Yeah, they're not too bad, and from what I've seen them,
I mean,
they're quality.
I sell this stuff every day, and it's like I see a number like that. I'm like, this is so good. This value is so good because, like, what pro cab of this level quality are you going to get for like $800 to $900? None.
Yeah, Most of the other ones are going to be like 1,200 and up.
Yeah. Yeah, I love those dark glass Neo cabs, but they're $1,200, $1,100.
Wow.
They sound great, and they're light, but they're a lot more money.
That's I play an early '90s SVT Classic.
Nice.
Was it the Dark Class Alpha Omega?
It's a good one. I have that pedal actually.
No, the head.
Yeah, the head's great.
Yeah,
When that pedal first came out, my brother's a bass player, and I got it for him, and he because he has a Blackline SVT, an original one, and he's got two 810s, and he only uses one when we play, thank God. But that thing sounded like a monster. Have you ever played the Duality fuzz from them?
No.
So they just reissued it. It's like the clearest, most naturally compressed, tightest. It's incredible for bass. It's like the best bass fuzz made for bass I ever heard. I have other ones I like we do. I mentioned Mask Audio before. They have a pedal called Black Math, which is sort of muff-esque, but it's got a couple different things happening with it. Also sounds phenomenal for bass because the tone sweep on it is so wide. Like you can get it to sound really tight and growly, or like big and like throaty and mid-rangey.
That's like Dark Glass. They do a lot of really
good
stuff. Like when they did that collaboration with Ernie Ball with Dark Ray and had the
Yep.
Alpha Omegas inside the car.
And we
It's
do
like, holy shit.
stuff like that with Built, where Built will put effects in the guitars, which is pretty cool. Yeah, they do some wild stuff.
I just thought it was cool to be able to have two different distortions
Yeah.
inside the guitar and be able to switch from clean distortion or the other distortion just by turning it
Yeah,
on.
absolutely. And we do a lot with those guys too with Dark Glass. And I love the Ernie Ball stuff. Yeah, we do a lot
Kind
with
of like
them.
Ernie Ball.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
I never noticed that.
That's nice.
How long have you known me?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess too long.
14 years?
Yeah, it's been that while.
So if you were going to have Chuck fill that in, is it you could do it as a burst or what?
Oh, that was my first Ernie Ball that I owned, exactly.
Nice.
But yeah, that tattoo's really old. It's nice and faded. Might have Chuck touch it up. He's gonna do my arm up here, I think.
Nice.
Just gotta have money. That's the problem.
That's the truth.
I only have one tattoo, and when everybody asks why, because I'm like an anomaly, it's like, well, anytime I had money, I spent it on pedals or guitars
Yeah, right.
or amps. Like, that's just how that
My
went.
problem is I save money, and then my wife's like, "Oh, we got to pay the mortgage," and then my kids are like, "Oh, I need a car." And
Well, that's important. That's important, right? It is, right?
Maybe.
Sort of. Yes.
Yeah.
yours is still young. They get
Well,
they
my-
get more expensive as they get older.
I know. I've seen it. So,
How old?
She just turned 8.
Wow. Imagine how much college is going to be when she gets there.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not trying to depress you or anything.
No.
I'm right there. I got an 18 and a 14.
You're
So
in it.
I'm in it.
Hopefully my Jubilee will be worth a lot of money by then.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be enough to pay for whatever. But yeah, I love those amps. Those are great amps. Like I said, I gigged with a 74 JMP for years.
See, I love those too.
It's funny how different pedals work well with different heads too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's definitely a reaction. Like Marshalls aren't very reactive to pedals,
So-
especially drivers.
The one thing I love, I love a lot about High Watt, but my favorite thing is they inadvertently made the ultimate pedal platform amp.
Wow.
Those amps, I tell people all the time, they tell the truth. There's no place to hide. Whether it's you're playing, if a pedal is a good pedal, if a pedal sounds good, it will sound amazing through a High Watt. If it's not,
Sound like shit.
so I gigged for years with that JMP, and I had an old big box EHX graphic fuzz. It was like a big muff, but it had an EQ, so you could really shape it nice. Loved it. They sounded great together. When I got the High Watt, I plugged it in. I was like, this sounds horrible. This is not very good. So then I had to go and okay, now you go a deep dive on. That's another thing I love doing is helping people find dirts and drives and stuff. It's one of my favorites, but it's that because I've been down that road and done that journey so many times. But yeah, it's interesting how the combinations pair.
Oh yeah.
Do you use any pedals?
I have. Fuck, I can't remember
Got a tuner.
That's good. You need that. That's
I have
important.
a wah, a tuner, and the only other pedal I use is a MXR.
Carbon copy.
No, line driver.
Oh, okay.
Whatever
Cool.
the clean boost one
Nice.
is. God, I can't remember. 401.
Okay. So I've owned. This is going to be really embarrassing. I've owned probably
Yeah, I've been at Soundtech.
450 50, 60 pedals in my life. I, you pare down, you sell, you get more, but I figured this out. I've had over 450 pedals in my life. I think I probably have about 120 or 130 in my collection now. I've never owned a wah. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
It's so odd because that's usually the first pedal.
Yeah.
That's one of the basics.
That's usually the first pedal people get. I've just never had a use for it. Although, there's some bands that use it that I really like. Like, I love the way some of those old 90s shoegaze bands use wah, like Swerve Driver, the way they use a wah and just kind of leave it cocked in that one position
and let it
to
be
get that
filtered.
nice bite. Yep, a filter. Yeah, I love that. But I've never owned a
Somebody
wah.
else just said that to me too. They're like, you must be like one of the only people left that use a wah. I'm like, are you fucking serious? It's like, wahs have been around forever.
It's funny. We don't sell a ton of wahs, but we do sell them. Like, the one we sell the most of, we have the Jam. It's called the Waco. The sweep on it is so wide. It's like the valves are like really accentuated with it because of how wide the sweep is.
Okay.
It sounds really, really great. And they just somehow shaved 1.5 pounds off of it, which I don't know how the hell they did that. But the old ones, like, you could, murder someone.
Oh, yeah.
with it. But the new ones, you just probably hurt them a little bit if you had somebody with it.
Yeah. Well, now they got the mini ones too. It's like, what's that going
Those
to
look
do?
so weird. I know. I just can't. Those just don't sit right with me. I'm like, I understand they save space, but it's like you're so used to seeing like a regular size sneaker
It's like
on
the
a
size of
regular
your-
size
exactly.
wah.
It's the size of your foot.
It looks like that's for like a toddler.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks
We
so
could tow
odd.
it.
Maybe,
Like, come on.
maybe it was meant for little people. You never know.
I don't know. We do sell those a lot too because of the compactness and the way that how easy they fit on pedal boards. But yeah, I don't know. We don't sell. I mean, wahs are like probably our.
I think that's like a dying thing. Like, unless you want to sit there and play Voodoo Child, like that's the only thing I can think of a kid listening to, getting introduced to Jimi Hendrix. That's why he'll get a wah.
Yeah, maybe. I have to say it's the fun battle with that too is always like, where should I put it? Because most people put it like in the beginning of their chain, and I tell people all the time, like, you want that fuzz hitting the wah.
Yeah.
You don't want the wad sound hitting the fuzz. It'll be so much better and so much bigger sounding if the fuzz goes first and then hits the wah after the fact.
True.
The only rule I ever follow was the tuner goes first.
Yeah.
That's the only one I've ever.
Well, people always ask me too. I say there's no real rules. It's a loose set of guidelines.
Well, you got to find each pedal's different. Are they true bypass?
Right.
Is
And what
it,
I tell
you know?
people too is, because I get a lot of people that get overwhelmed about this, and I tell people, like, if you just sit back for a second and just think about it like this basic equation, do you want X to affect Y, or do you want Y to affect X? Do you want your reverb signal to be delayed, or do you want your delayed signal to hit the reverb? When you boil it down that simply, they're just like, okay, yeah, I kind of understand it now. That's why there's that basic set of rules: overdrives, fuzzes, into wahs or filters, then into modulation, then delays, then reverbs.
My only thing was, like I said, tuner first. That way, there's nothing entering the pedal board. When you turn it on, it's just signals
interesting
cut off.
for me. I always put the tuner second to last, and I'll tell you why. Because I use true bypass loopers, so that there's nothing, like when they're all off, the tuner is first. You're just going through these loopers where there's nothing happening with them if all of them are off. But I have between that and my loop station or whatever, I'm start confusing true bypass looper and looper, the looper that records stuff and plays it back. The reason why I like to do that is because if I loop something and want to let it go and then mute the rest of the signal, the tuner can mute everything, kill everything
Except
going
the
into
looper,
that, and then the loop will just go, and I can just kind of go
that
get
makes
a drink
sense.
or something.
Yeah, it's signal flow.
Yeah,
I mean, that's really what it is. So.
Yep. And by now I'm probably boring everybody, so I'm sorry.
Fuck them. Who cares? they
boring
should
us.
learn. They need to learn.
Well, they're seeing that when they come here, this is what they're getting.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it really is. It's a full service center, and I applaud you for that because you have a good heart and you're actually like sitting there being like, man, I work 18 hours or whatever it is, but I know that person's going to be happy with whatever when they leave, and you don't get that anymore.
Well, for me, it's like I don't want to have, if I succeed or if I fail, whatever happens, I don't want to put as much effort as I possibly could into it, because I'm very fortunate that I was able to do this, and I recognize what an incredible opportunity I have and how the community that we've built so far, and the new customers that I never even knew before that come to us repeatedly now, and I consider them friends and family. And I don't want to say, if we have to close up our store tomorrow for whatever reason, I don't want to say it's because I didn't try my best. You know what I mean? It sounds really, really corny, but that's the truth.
True.
I wouldn't be able to live with that.
In today's day and age, you don't really find many people that are in it like you, that they're just so passionate about it. It's just what you do. Most people would get into an endeavor like this just to have a business and make money.
Which is stupid, because you do not want to do this to make money.
No. There's
a lot better ways to make
Like I said,
money.
I commend you, because you have a hell of a store here.
Yeah.
Like I said, just the way you talk about it and the passion you have behind it, it's pretty awesome.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that, and I hope that comes through.
So we have for you a website, socials.
Very active on Instagram.
Yes.
His Sunday PSAs that he loves.
Yeah. No, that's super nerve-wracking for me to do that. I'm not comfortable doing that at all. But it's, how I started doing that? I started doing that because I have the same, 8 people asking me, what's coming this week? What's happening? And it's just like, all right, let me just do a video. I know they're going to watch it. Yeah. Actually, ironically, it's the same reason I do that is the same reason I signed up for Instagram in the first place, before it was taken over by Facebook, when it's like, I don't want to text my same 8 friends the same picture. So I'll just post it and share it, and then they can see it. Mm-hmm. It's not that anymore.
Like I said, I enjoy the little Sunday
I appreciate
PSAs.
it. No, I've gotten really good feedback from it. It's just I only do one take. I don't rehearse it.
It's not rehearsed.
It shows
live
your commitment as well.
Yeah.
But you can see the passion oozing out of you when you're just talking about it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, my big thing with anything is authenticity and genuineness, and whether it's the music you play or my brother, really, he's much smarter than I am. He said, how you do anything is how you do everything. So I think about that, and it's like, don't cut corners.
It's all or nothing, yeah.
It's all or nothing.
Very cool.
That's awesome, man. Like I said, we really appreciate having us up here. And
Thank you.
We definitely got to do a
Staying late
tour,
for us.
show everybody real quick on this.
Yeah, we have a little bit of construction going on right now that I haven't even shown anybody on the Insta yet.
We'll just keep that
we'll
out.
avoid that
We'll
spot.
avoid that spot.
I want to wait for that to be totally done before I unveil
You
that.
show us what you don't want on, and we'll take it out.
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely. All right, well,
We'll
thank
definitely
you.
have a little walk around at some point and show everybody what.
I'm going to see what I'm going to buy.
Thank you so much.
Try to buy something real quick.
Yeah,
You might have to take me home though. I won't be
I
allowed
drove
in
you
the
here,
house.
so I guess I have to take you home.
No,
I think
not
he's saying
the-
you have to sleep.
Yeah, I'm going to your
I got
house.
a couple couches. It's all good. It's all good. I got couches.
You want a guitar? What?
It's funny. I put that couch there in the front instead of somewhere where you can't see it in the window, because I'm like, I did that so I wouldn't sleep here, because when I first built this, I was here so much.
Yeah.
It forced me to go home.
Well, yeah, there had to be nights where you're just like, I don't even know if I want to drive home. I'm so tired.
Yes. But I'm like, I'm not going to sleep in the middle of a big window on Mom Street, so everybody could be like, what is happening over there?
We'll totally have to show that. That's great.
Yeah. It's fun, man. It's fun. I love the street. I love doing this. Everybody here the town's been great.
Like I said, it's a really awesome little
Yeah.
area, too. So you got a ton of foot traffic.
Yep. And I tell people too, and honestly, the foot traffic is nice, but I could take or leave it. What I really appreciate are the people that seek us out, that come here from all over the place, that come here specifically for the shop, that, see something we have online, that come here to want to play it. The people that, I know when something new comes in, I know they're going to want it, and I give them first dibs. I give them the crack at it, whether it's limited pedals or guitars or whatever. Like those people that constantly not only buy stuff all the time, but share our posts again, and that kind of stuff to me. I have one of my favorite groups of customers is I have a family, right? The one guitar player just got into playing guitar again a couple years ago, or a year ago, or whatever it was. His wife never played. His kids never played. He has a family band. They turn their dining room into a rehearsal space, and they'll do Cramps covers and stuff like that. It's the coolest thing.
That's cool.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, and they love it here, and they come down from North Jersey, and they're just they're wonderful people, and I'm lucky enough to have 20 of them.
That's
People like that
cool.
that I do business with. That's just like, if you have one group of people like that or one customer like that, you're doing something right. And you know, I'm just glad it's resonating with people, I
Yeah,
guess.
like I said, when I first reached out to you, my guy Chuck had, he spoke the world of you.
Chuck's awesome. I love Chuck.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Me and him are starting a little something on the side.
Oh yeah,
and doing a little
is
project
that
together.
is that for public consumption, or
I mean,
you could always edit it? Okay.
He'll just edit it out. He's no fun.
No, I'll leave it in there. I won't mention any of the other things that we kind of have going on, and we got a couple leads on a couple different people to bring into the mix, and it's
Cool.
going to be interesting. Yeah, it's going to be something. It's going to be groovy.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
You heard it here first, guys.
yeah, it's an exclusive.
Big news here.
well, I'm about ready to try one of these high watts. So, unless you guys,
Thanks again for
something
having
else-
us, man.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming up. I
Everybody that
appreciate
watches
it.
this, any of our musician friends, you really need to come check out this
Yeah.
place. This guy, he's freaking awesome, and we really hope to collaborate with you on something in the future.
Absolutely. Let's keep in touch.
Awesome. And,
Appreciate you.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Alrighty. Bye.